What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Mint City Soccer Show. I'm your host, David Gussler, and I'm here with my co-host slash producer extraordinaire, Corey Ensko. Corey, how are you, man? Already practicing the breathing exercises, are you?
Deep breaths, deep sigh. That's how I'm doing right now. That's where I'm at. So
it's not a good feeling right now for Charlotte fans in general, or Carolina sports fans in general right now.
No.
We were just talking about the hockey game that I hope, as I listen back in this in time, that it ends up being in a better state, but that's okay. Yeah, it kind of sucks right now, man. So, well, we're here. It's Thursday night, and again, we've had a little bit of a wonky schedule because of midweek games, U.S. Open Cup. May has just been a hellacious week or month for Charlotte FC. So we figured we'd jump on here and have a quick little therapy session because I think I need it. Corey, you need it. And I think Charlotte FC fans need it. So if you're listening to this, as long as you're not driving in the car, go lay down on the couch, close your eyes, take a big breath in, pause for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and hold it. And get ready to talk and listen to Charlotte FC talk. So had to give that little.
We're gonna try to clear out some of this bad energy right now. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to clear out this negative energy that's pervading Carolina sports right now, and try for something more positive.
Yeah, it's not great, but let's dig into it, man. So the last two games since we did our last show, Charlotte FC played at home against the Chicago Fire. And what was previously I don't want to say a fortress or a tough place to play previously, earlier in this season has all of a sudden become not so great. And Charlotte lost 4-1 to Chicago, and then went on the road to play in the U.S. Open Cup in the knockout round and played DC United and went into extra time, tied it 3-3, and then lost in PKs. So they are officially knocked out of the U.S. Open Cup. So we're going to cover both a little bit, talk through how we're feeling. We kind of have to.
Can we talk about anything else?
We can't talk about the Hurricanes right now, so it's okay.
Can we just shift the focus of this podcast real quick, just to something totally different? That'd be nice.
Let's talk about movies. Let's do that. So Corey, I guess I'll kick it off here, and I'll throw it over to you. But it's been a rough month for Dean, for Charlotte FC, for fans. This is the first time that Charlotte has lost this many games in a row consecutively, right? Now, if you count the previous Open Cup game before DC United, Charlotte did win 4-1 against NCFC. But if you look at their recent run of form, it is a loss to Chicago, lost to Orlando City, lost to Nashville, lost to the Columbus Crew, lost to the New England Revolution. The last time Charlotte FC won a game at home and against MLS competition was April 19th. And we are now May 22nd, about to be 23rd when people are probably listening to this. So it's been a rough month. I know we were talking on Discord in previous episodes that this month is going to kind of test fans, and we may not see some of the results that we want it to go our way. And boy is not going our way at all right now. So, nope. And it's been rough because the team's been very uncharacteristic. It's been allowing a lot of goals. If you look at, I'm going to just read this off since April 19th. So if you go back from our last win at home, going to the start of the season, Charlotte allowed in 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 goals in those first few games, right? So in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games, they let in 7 goals. It's not bad, like a little bit less. If you look at it since that San Diego game, sorry.
The past two matches, we let in 7 goals.
I know. So didn't think about it from that perspective. But
I knew you were going to add up the full number. I just wanted you to know that, the past, including DC last night, that's 7 goals in 2 matches.
If you don't count DC last night, we've let in 15 goals in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. That's including the U.S. Open Cup against NCFC. Now, if you count DC United, it's 18 goals. I think my math's correct there, in a very short time frame, and that is uncharacteristically bad. And it's not trend that you want to see moving. And what my concern was is like, we had a loss against the Revolution, very unlucky loss to that, right? Seems like we played better. Kind of got blew out by the Crew the first time. And, like we had some flashes here and there. We at least scored 2 goals. But what's happened since has just been this like nosedive. And I don't want to say a calamity of errors, but there has just been errors and type of play that's just uncharacteristic to Dean Smith since his time has been here by his players and his team. And it's, I don't know, it makes me pause and get worried a little bit for where we're trending at over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to start, but like, I guess what I'll start with is, we talked about it on this show. We all knew that May was going to be incredibly tough. So like, we weren't under any illusion that we were going to win all the May matches and come out of here and still be top of the league. We knew this was going to be a really tough stretch. But I don't think anyone expected it to be this bad. And it being this bad is what worries me. Like, it's not the fact that we've lost some matches. Like, I expected that. Again, brutal schedule, a lot of midweek matches, a lot of away matches, a lot of really tough opponents. Like, there's a lot in there. But our only win in the past month being a extra time victory over North Carolina FC, it's brutal. And again, like, there's some of them where it's like, okay, like you said, New England, I still think it's a bad loss, but at least we played well. So like, there was something to take away from that. We still should have won that match. We should have taken our chances. We should have scored some goals there, at least gotten a point out of it. But like, we didn't play bad, so fine. But some of these more recent ones, I mean, has there been a worse performance at Bank of America Stadium than that Chicago match? Like, I'd really have to think about it. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen in that stadium.
The only one I can think of would be like Montreal during the Latanzio era when we lost like 3-1 or 4-1 or something like that. Like year 2, it was bad.
I mean, that was top to bottom, just absolutely brutal to watch. And that's the kind of thing that worries me. And we kind of hinted at this last week when we recorded too, is that, okay, some of these are starting to worry me a little bit. The way we're losing matches, the way we're dropping points, and especially that Chicago one was like, that needed to be the bright spot. We talked about how important that match was. I was like, all right, we're going to be at home. We're playing a team that is below us in the standings. This is not one of the, I mean, they're a good team. I'm not saying Chicago's bad. Chicago's a pretty strong team. Like, they're on a good run right here. They'll be flirting with a playoff spot. Like, they're not a bad team necessarily, but like, and they're in really good form right now, to be fair. Like, they've won, I'm looking at it now, like they've won 4 straight matches. They're playing well right now, but still, home match against a team that's below us in the standings. Like, this is like, okay, this is the reset moment. We're going to come in here, we're going to get our form back, and then that'll kind of propel us forward for the rest of this long stretch of really tough matches. And we played awful and just got it handed to us. It was like, I can't think of a single positive. And now, I mean, it's been a while, so I've already probably forgotten about a lot of the details. But like, actually, no, I can think of one positive. Agyemang was the only positive I had. I thought Patrick played really well. He was like, he's literally the only person I could think of. And I know he only had the only goal, but I also felt like he played well in that match. But outside of that, like, I can't think of a single positive from that match that I would take away. It was ugly on the field. It was ugly off the field. It was just a really, really, really bad match. And I think that's the kind of loss that truly worries me about, like, what is going on with this team right now? I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Just to not to rub salt in the wound, but if you look at this is MLS, run of play. So this excludes CONCACAF, this excludes Open Cup, etc. Charlotte FC is the only team in the entire league that has lost 5 games in a row. Mm-hmm. In the last 5 games, the league worst LA Galaxy has at least drew a game once in the last 5 games. And it's so, while I don't think we're at the LA Galaxy or St. Louis City or CF Montreal level, we're not. But we're knocking on the door right now in terms of a free fall, and it's kind of scary where we're at. Now, you were at the Chicago game. that game was rough, was there anything that really just agitated you or frustrated you from experiencing that game in the stadium? I know we're kind of talking offline.
Are you trying to goad me into a rant here? Is that what you're trying to do?
Maybe just to make myself feel better when I go on one in a little bit. That's okay.
I mean, a couple of things. Like I'll talk about on the field first. I think what really frustrated me was how flat we looked and how slow we look. And I know, like, players got to be tired. I know there's a lot of matches. I'm sure they're tired. We don't, like, with injuries and all that stuff, like, we don't have the depth that we'd like to have. You know, I get it. But just, like, I feel like so much defensively, we let Chicago do whatever they wanted to. Like, Chicago was not, like, trying to attack like crazy. They were very much sitting back waiting for counter opportunities, which, you know, makes sense. Like, that's kind of what they were doing as the away team. That's what their plan was. But anytime they got a counter opportunity, they got a good opportunity on goal. Like, it didn't feel like they had to work hard to get a shot on goal. And like I don't know if I have it in front of me, but like the number of shots they took for the way
they had 23 shots compared to our 12.
Right. Again, for the way they were playing, it wasn't like they were pressing an attack. They were just sitting back waiting for us to do something stupid, and then they would just sprint forward and get a shot on goal. Like, it just, like, every time it was like do 5 passes, they had a shot. And we were slow to step up on anybody. We were slow to make any stops. It was just we seemed like we were on the back foot the entire time. Not playing well, and it was hard to watch. I don't know what was going on. We weren't creating that many chances either. It just felt very slow and flat-footed, and like we weren't ready. We didn't have the energy. We didn't have the passion for it. We were just like, we rolled out there being like, well, we'll see what happens. And Chicago came and took it. So that frustrated me a lot, just the way the team played.
Well, and if you look at it, I mean, and this is just like foot mob map. If you just look at the way the game went, like, Carolina had a few chances, but Chicago overwhelmingly had the most chances here.
Yeah.
Like, their expected goal was 3.99,
3.99,
so right where it was expected to be, right?
Yeah.
So like, they had 23 shots, they had 6 on target. Like, they frankly kind of dominated Charlotte in this game. And that was the first time I've ever seen a game at home where it seemed like, I don't want to say like Charlotte gave up, because like they were trying to rally back after that first goal in the 70th minute or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then that PK where Ashley Westwood got fiery and everything like that. It just took the wind out of the sail completely in the last 15, 20 minutes of the game. And it just felt like, granted, you're down 4-1. I get it. But also, it was the first time I've seen Charlotte seem like they kind of gave up.
Yeah. There was a moment, when Pat scored the goal, and then was it Biel or Abada? I'm honestly trying to remember who had. I think it was Biel, who had a really good opportunity, like minutes after Aubameyang scored the goal. Like he came in and kind of had a 1-on-1 and like just put it just wide of the post on a really nice take. I think I can't remember who it was, but I think it was Biel, and. That was the moment where it was like, okay, this team might show some fight and try to get back into this. Like, that was really on the positive. And again, I thought Patrick had a really nice game. I thought he played really well, making some nice runs, being strong with the ball, like getting in good positions. Like, he was the one kind of creating by himself out there. So I felt good about how he played. But really that was it. And it showed. I just clicked over just to see like what the player ratings for the team were. And
he's like, the only one.
Patrick's like the 7.8, and everybody else is like way lower. So that's how it felt. So it's good to know that's backed up by how the statistics were taken in, because he was the one I was like, good, nice game, Pat. Like you had a really good match, and no one else in that field did. I mean, Kalina, I don't know what's going on with Kalina, and I don't expect him to be. We can't expect him to be what he was last season for forever. I mean, the way he played last season was just unbelievable. He saved us in so many matches. You just cannot believe what he did last season. I didn't expect it to last forever. But now we're seeing just like seems like silly mistakes. And I know you claim that the first goal that was deflected? I didn't see it get deflected.
Yeah, because I was watching it from my couch, and it wasn't very much. And I will say this, I'm not going to defend it because Kalina was definitely kind of cheating and got caught.
He looked
cheating.
out of position on it, yeah.
And he got out of position, but it also it grazed the back of Nick Scardina just ever so slightly. That probably caused it to go not where Kalina probably expected it, but it was he was still cheating absolutely in his position there. But
he's looked off. The defense has looked off, and the defense I don't get. Like, I know we don't have Burn, and I think Burn, what we missed not having Burn in the game is how he propels the attack.
Yeah.
I don't think, and DC probably being the exception, we can get into that. But like outside of the DC match, I don't think Scardina's he's been solid defensively. I think he's played well in that spot for Burn. So like I don't think we're missing something defensively. Maybe a little bit of something, but like it's not a huge drop from Burn to Scardina defensively. But I don't know what's happening with the rest of the defense. Like it just feels like we're all out of sorts. No one knows what's going on. We've just completely lost or can't figure out how to play defensively like we have in past seasons. I'm worried that Reem has lost a step this season. That like maybe we could get away with him being a left back in the past, and now it's just other teams know they can exploit that and get past them. Like I don't know. The Malanda and Privet pairing, which was unbeatable for so long, has become beatable. Like I don't know what it is. Like maybe we've gotten away with this thing for a long time now, and it's finally coming back to bite us. And I don't want to overreact. Like we're still in a decent spot. It's a long season. The team's got the talent. Like there's still a chance to rebound, but just some of the things I've seen these past few matches have really started to worry me. Like, were we just really lucky and charmed for a little while here, and now we're seeing like it's all kind of starting to fall apart? Like using this, MLS draft pick midfielder as a center back wasn't going to work forever. And now it's coming back to bite. Like I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but it's just what I'm seeing is it's not working. I don't know. I don't know if it's just again a bad stretch of matches. I don't know what's going on, but it just feels it's gotten to the point where it started to work me. We talked about this. Some of those early losses in this stretch, it was like, okay, we lost, we played well. I like how we played. We created a bunch of chances, we just couldn't finish. Like practice finishing, we can get there. But like the more this keeps happening and the ways some of these happen, especially the Chicago match, like, ooh, maybe something's wrong. Maybe something is off here, and there's reason to be worried about what's going on with this team.
So we'll stick with the defense because then I'm going to pick your brain on a certain player that's been polarizing, I guess you could say, later. My biggest thing, and I think Donnie, a.k.a. Fatbird, was alluding to it in Discord last night during the DC United Open Cup game, but I think right now where we're hurting is that we're having to rely on some depth pieces, which, cool, like I get that. Like that's every team has to go through that. Injuries, depth, etc. So think our starting right back is out. So Reem is our starting quote unquote. Go ahead.
That the only depth piece we're having to worry about right now is right back.
Yeah. Well, and left back a little bit, depending on what we're doing.
A little bit, but I only say that because Reem was our starting left back for the end of last season.
Sure. So, and this is what I was going to build up to here. Is that I guess my frustration is here, and this is a little bit of criticism for Zoran and the front office. A little bit, maybe it's Dean. I don't know, but we had good from decent to good depth pieces last year, right? At the back half of the year, yes, you had Reem take over the left back spot for Yuri, right? We sold Yuri, moved him on because I guess we thought Reem would be able to stay and perform there, right? Mm-hmm. You also had Jalen Lindsay, right back, who could occasionally play left back, was just walked and now is at USO at New Mexico United, is not in MLS anymore, but he could. Would you feel more comfortable with Nick Scardina or Jalen Lindsay right now? Like, you know what I mean? So like, there's that piece to it. You also had a player in Yal Pedro, right, that is on loan that played left back for us / center back last year, and so it seems like we kind of depleted our depth pieces earlier in the season, and then we had to scramble to bring in depth pieces when we got rid of them all, right? We had to bring in Suleiman on loan because we had some injuries there. We wanted to get some depth to kind of spell Ream. You had Marshall Ruddy bought or put on loan again because Suleiman then got injured. Our depth piece got injured, so we had to get a second depth piece. And then you had Nick Scardina coming in to be the depth piece for Nathan Byrne, right? And it's been I don't know how well it's worked out for us in these moments. There's flashes, don't get me wrong, but is that the expectation we had at the beginning of the season, was to have flashes and to be decent, or was the expectation to be fighting for that top 4 spot in the East and getting to be able to host a playoff game this year? I think the expectation was early on that we were going to be able to do that, right?
Yeah.
And so, to your point, there's no depth pieces starting consistently in the midfield. You've got the same midfield, occasionally rotating from here and there, which is a whole different conversation. But you've got the same attack as last year. You've got an upgrade at the attacking mid position. You've got Patrick Agyemang, you've got Toklamati, you've got Wilfred Zaha, you've got Lee Labada. Like, we've spent money and got DP weapons, quote unquote, on paper for the attack. Our midfield is the same as last year. So, and the only thing that's really changed, like you said, is our left back, right back potentially, and somehow we have just fell off the rock somehow. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, I see what you're saying. The only one of those that I still don't understand why we let him go on loan was João Pedro. I feel like I've seen that Yuri like kind of wanted to get back to Europe. It was a little bit of like just kind of a personal thing.
He lost his starting
job and he wanted to go back. Fine. And I think Jalen Lindsey was not seeing the field at all, and he's a young player who like wants to have a chance to build a career, and so he's like, I need to see the field. And you can't predict injuries, right? So like, as long as Byrne was healthy, he was never going to see the field.
Correct.
So I get why they left. I wish we'd maybe had bolstered it earlier than having to do it in an emergency situation. But like, those two leaving, that doesn't bother me too much. I didn't understand the João Pedro one just because like we didn't have anybody else. So I was like, wait, we're going to put in there.
We're going to loan our depth piece and then just roll with one left back.
But
you know what I mean?
But I would also say the only piece we're having to rely on depth is the right back. It's not like we are hurt with injuries. We have 2 left back replacements, and with Suleiman being hurt, that's tough. But like the lineup that we rolled out for Chicago, other than Gianni for Bronico, which we all have feelings about, that lineup is the same line. It is the top lineup other than Scardina. And again, I don't think Scardina has been that bad. Like I truly don't.
Sure.
So like, I don't think it's just that. And I think again, what we lose in Byrne is more on the attack than defensively. Not that he's not good defensively. I just think Scardina's played admirably defensively. I just noticed that Byrne was the guy who, when he would get the ball back there, he would charge forward, or he'd be up there crossing balls into the box. Like he was very good in the attack. And so then you'd had like Malanda, Privet, Ream kind of move into like a 3-back, set, so Byrne could fly forward. Like I feel like that's what we're missing. I don't think that's necessarily affecting how we're playing defensively. I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know for sure, but like but outside of that, like Ream playing left back, Malanda, Privet in the middle, like that's what the defense has been. And so I don't understand what all of a sudden stopped working. I start to wonder if it is more in the midfield is our issue, right? Like I've kind of got on this boat of like, do we need to completely rethink our midfield? And I hate to say this because we're talking about players that are very beloved to this organization, but like, does Westwood need to sit on the bench for a few matches? Like, I don't know. I love Ashley Westwood, and I don't want to say that, but like, I'm just starting to wonder, like, do we need to try some other pieces here? Something's happening that has, because I feel like, again, like, I don't know, the defensive midfield is also hurting what we're doing defensively. So I don't know. I'm my brain is bouncing on a lot of different things that I want to talk about, but it just feels like we had something that was really magical that worked really well last year in the way we defended and moved forward. And I don't know if it's the way we are game planning to try to be more attacking minded has messed up the defense. I don't know if it's players have lost a step and now like what we had in there wasn't working, but like something has shifted to the point where we're giving up the amount of goals we're giving up. Not just losing, but giving up 3 goals, 4 goals in a match. Like it's.
So let's talk about the midfield for a second, because I found this, and I don't know how. I guess this is dangerous of me just reading this off the internet because I don't know how accurate it is, because there's no encompasses me perfectly when I say that. So I'm just going to just read stuff off the internet. So this is from a Twitter account called Gypsy No Longer, but whatever, I don't really know. But they put a thread out there of like 13 tweets, kind of talking about what's gone wrong for Charlotte the past little bit. And one of the things that they pointed out was typical MLS season, 50 to 60% of goals come from strikers, 20 to 30% come from attacking midfielders, 10 to 20% come from wingers. Of the 21 goals that Charlotte has conceded this season so far, 43% have come from attacking midfielders, 19% have come from wingers, 33% from strikers, and 5% from central midfielders. So to your point on the midfield conversation, it's not like we're getting beat by like big name DP nines and strikers. Like, and we've done okay. Like you've had a few here and there that do that, but think of like the Carlos Heel goal, like attacking midfielder, right? There's chance creators for 43% of our goals to be coming from attacking midfielders. And you guys can fact check me or fact check this Gypsy No Longer, account. I don't know, but if that's true, like that's kind of an indictment a little bit of our six a little bit, right? Because you're kind of tasked to shut down those attacking midfielders and those creations there. Now, granted, we've kind of played a different scheme where Ashley Westwood's kind of sagged back into the center back, or kind of sagged more defensively, even more so than what they typically do in the past, but. Yeah, I hate to say that because I love Ashley. He's our captain. He's been solid. Have ran the most in like MLS last year, like in terms of covered distance, and plays every minute he possibly can, and is fiery and mouths off and all this stuff. But like, if the legs aren't there, and you can't cover the ground that you used to, and you're seeing a lot of the goals come from that part of the top of the box, or attacking mids kind of floating in. You gotta make a change eventually.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we do that now. I don't know. I'm not Dean. I don't, but I don't know. What would you do in that situation? Who would you put there? I guess.
I just want to try some other things. Yeah. Like, and I think I mentioned this like way several episodes back. I've just been thinking like we need to try something else in the midfield a little bit just to see if there's something else we can unlock here. And I thought like Open Cup matches were a good chance to do that. But like there's other things there. But like I just really feel like, and again, I love Ashley Westwood, but he's a veteran player. And for a veteran player to be running more than anybody else in MLS that's probably not the best. And
he's tied with the most minutes so far this season. He's played
14 games, and just like like as you age, like those legs aren't quite the same as they used to be, and so I think it's dangerous to be relying on that in that way. And so that's where I'm like, we need to just have some other midfield options. Like let's experiment some other lineups, bring some other players in there, just be able to like have different ways we approach the midfield, and also maybe unlock some things and give some players in that, because we have midfield depth, give some other players some minutes that could lead to some opportunities there. So I know it's hard to say. Again, like Wes was the captain. It's hard to say you want to bench the captain, but I just think there's been some opportunities in Open Cup or Leagues Cup coming up Like let's play some other midfields. Like we did it against DC a little bit. We rolled a different looking midfield there, you know. So let's just try some other things and see, you know, some of these other players. Like, I mean, Pekovic, like why is he not getting more opportunities even off the bench? More often.
Why is he even playing an attacking mid? But he never played before getting to Charlotte.
Right.
That's a whole.
I mean, there's just some things there where it's like we've got some depth here, especially as we get guys back from injury. When you think about like the Cambridges and those kind of guys, you know, like we've got some depth in midfield. Let's play some of those guys and see what we can do. But yeah, I wonder about the midfield again when I look at like how Chicago just, again, when they would get the ball and push forward, they just carved up our entire team. Like they moved the ball at will through our midfield to get into the box. And that's the kind of thing that worries me. And players not stepping up on players that are getting ready to shoot. I mean, it's just we're giving players so much time to where they're able to make these outside of the box goals and things like that because they have the space and they have the time because we're not stepping up to defend in the defense and in the midfield. And that's the kind of thing that like starts to worry me and frustrate me. Yeah.
Looking at Ashley's like work rate and playing time this year and last year is the highest amount of minutes percentage played possible in his career. So like, and that's not saying he hasn't played more minutes previously. Sorry, it's his highest and then his third. The other one was in 2020 to 2021. He played 99.7% chances of minutes possible for Burnley, right? But I mean, he played nearly 3,000 minutes last year at 97%. So, like, if he played 3% more, he would have been up there almost in terms of the highest minutes he's ever played in his career.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that. And again, I hope Ashley comes back after a week of rest and comes back this week and proves us all wrong and has his highest rated game and does whatever.
That's what I want. Yeah.
But I hear you on it. That's concerning, especially with the way that our midfield's been kind of playing lately, and then the way that attacking mids have been kind of taking over. It's not been great. But I want to transition to unless you have something else. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, two things. Another gripe I have about that match was the subs, and more the complete lack of subs late in the match. Like, you've got a cluster, like a crowded schedule coming up. We used 3 subs in the 60s. So, like, we subbed on Williamson, Vargas, Marshall Ruddy, in the 62nd all the way to 68th minute, made some changes there. And that's when we were still fighting to get back in the match, and that's Patrick scores soon after. You're, like, trying to keep attacking, right? So you leave in some of those attacking pieces because, like, there's a chance we can come back in this. But at a certain point, like, especially I know this is like not a ton of time, but like once the 4th goal goes in, once we have the penalty, like, why are we not taking out some of these guys that we need in the run to just give them at least a little bit of rest? Or even earlier, even being down 3-1, I could see the logic in like taking out like an Ashley Westwood, for example, like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Like, give him some rest.
Yeah.
So we didn't use 2 of our subs in this very clustered part of the schedule when we already are short on legs. Like, it just didn't make any sense to me why we didn't sub anyone out after the 68th minute, given the way that match ended. So I don't understand that. And then I'll finally speak to the thing you tried to goad me into earlier.
Great.
And I think I said it in the Discord. I said it to you before we started recording. Everyone should be glad that we did not record this episode on Sunday or Monday because I was hot. I have never been more frustrated at the way our fan base reacted to that match. Because of, look, the ref had a perfectly fine game. I'm just going to say it. The ref was not bad. One call, one consequential call, I would say. The Vargas got fouled before the penalty. 100% agree. He got fouled. The penalty was legit. Like, we fouled the guy in the box. Like, that's a penalty. That's fine. You can get mad that Vargas should have gotten the foul call. We should have had a free kick from at the top of the box. But the way we were playing, we probably weren't going to score it. So, like, whatever.
When's the last time we've scored off a free kick anyways,
right.
by the way?
So, fine. Like, it was a foul. That's the only, like, literally of the whole match. And that's, it's a big-ish one. But, like, of the whole match, that's the only thing I can really think of where I was like, oh, that was a bad call. And also, we cleaned out one of the Chicago players in the first half with no call, which was the funniest thing to me. Like, we absolutely cleared him out and no call. So, like, whatever. And the fact that our fan base is so into this ref you suck mentality that we immediately go so hard against the ref, chanting, booing, just being nasty about the ref. It's so they put the freaking like ref you suckometer on the Jumbotron. Everybody cheered.
No way. I did not see
that.
I
yes.
didn't know that. Really?
Someone put it in the Discord. If you look in the Discord, you'll see it. A kid. This is like not an older person.
Now I know what you're talking about.
A kid had like a drawn thing of a sign that said a ref you suckometer and had it to the top, like in the red, and everybody cheered and lost their mind. It's like no. You know who sucked? Our team.
We did.
We sucked. If you want to get mad at anything, get mad at our team performing. The ref did not have any impact on the outcome of that match. And I cannot stand when we sit here and blame the ref on something that had nothing to do with what the ref did. I will get mad at a ref when they make bad calls that truly impact the game. I still don't like the chant. The chant's kind of beside that, though. Like, I'll boo a ref or we'll get mad or whatever. But, like, us getting into this mentality of if things are going wrong for us, it's because we're getting screwed by the ref is so immature. Like, I'm tired of it. Like, it's so silly. And I think what put me over the edge is I'm walking out of the stadium and there are these kids. I'm talking like elementary school age kids, like 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there, that chanted "Ref, you suck" throughout the entire concourse all the way out of the stadium. I'm not going to try to judge parents here, but like other adults would walk by them and get in it with them and cheer with them. Like, we're just creating this mentality of like, yeah, it was the ref's fault. We lost 4-1. The ref didn't score 4 goals, right? Like, we lost that match because we were bad. And I'm just so tired of this thing where we're blaming the ref for everything. And it's just like, that's why I hate the chant. That's why I hate the things that we're doing with that. Like, watching people boo the refs as they were walking to the tunnel below me, it was like, are you serious right now? You're booing them? What did they do that caused us to lose 4-1? So I don't know. I'm over it. Like, and then there's like the videos of us throwing things on the field at Greg Berhalter.
Yeah,
like, I mean,
I know. That's
this
ridiculous.
Like we look.
Which can I just say on that?
We like it was embarrassing on the field and in the stands. That's how I felt about Saturday's match.
I agree, and I wasn't there to hear the ref you suck stuff because I'm kind of having my own little issues with going to games and my own thoughts of spending money there for TSC. But
sure, yeah.
But like throwing cups, like I am so over that because that is not and I don't mean to make this podcast into just like, oh, let's talk shit about fans or anything like that. But like, don't throw stuff at people. Like, just don't do it. I've never been a fan of throwing drinks in the air when we score anyways. Like, we're year 4 of doing this. Like, it shouldn't be a surprise when we score, whatever. But like, also don't throw your cup at somebody. Don't throw your orange soda at somebody. Don't throw your hot dog in the air. Like, don't do that. I don't understand. People get hit in the head. It hurts. And it just, I don't know. Now I'm getting on my little tangent for that too, Corey. Sorry. But yeah. Just don't throw shit, man.
It was. I feel like we've done such a good job, and the reason I think I'm frustrated about this is I feel like Charlotte has a really good reputation for our fan base and the energy we bring to matches, and so I think that's why it's frustrating to see that version of it. Was just really frustrating. Again, like y'all already heard me talk about the chant. I'm not even getting into the chant, but like I'm just saying, I thought it was just crazy that we were getting so mad at the ref in that match. And I'm like, he missed maybe one call, and it wasn't like he missed a penalty. It wasn't like he didn't do a VAR check that could have changed the outcome of the match. Sure. Like, it wasn't anything like that. It was a in the run of play outside of the box foul. Yeah, He missed it. He did. It happens. It's frustrating. We were down 3-1. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, and then we did commit a penalty. Like, that was, and then everybody got all up in arms about the penalty, and they showed the Jumbotron. I was like, no, yeah, you got his leg, you got his foot. It's a foul in the box. Like, I don't know what you're mad about. Like, that's a penalty. Sorry.
I just saw the image in our Discord of that. I can't believe they put that on the big screen.
Put it on the Jumbotron. Okay. Put it on the Jumbotron, and one of the loudest cheers of the night.
That's kind of bad that was the loudest cheer of the night, but that's neither here nor there.
And then again, the people walking out with these little kids chanting it, and then the adults around them chanting it with them and goading them on. And I'm just like, what are we doing, man? Like, what are we like teaching people how to be fans of a team when that's the thing we are celebrating is yelling at the ref? I don't know. Sorry, I got on the soapbox. I'm done. I'm moving on.
I goaded you to do this. Thank you for doing that for me.
Okay, it would have been worse if you saw the group chat or if you made me do this on a Sunday. It would have been way worse. I was mad.
So let's talk one more topic here, a polarizing figure, then we'll take a quick ad break. But let's talk about Wilfried Zaha for a second. So, and I'm not, how do I bring this up without sounding like a wishy-washy fan or something like that? But there was a moment that some of the media pundits picked up on in the Fire game where Gianni and Wilf did not connect. There's a pass.
Yeah. I know what you're talking
Zaha
about.
Zaha was standing there. Gianni thought he was going to continue moving on, and it just bad link-up play.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And Wilfried and him kind of start jawing off at each other. And, you know, then Wilfried gets frustrated and starts jawing off at Greg Berhalter at the same time because Berhalter's probably, egging him on. Like, yeah, man.
Berhalter was 100% egg. Like, I mean, let's be real. Like, that's what was happening. He knew what he was doing. He was absolutely going to egg on Zaha.
Correct. So, and you had that. And in Wilf's kind of defense, Dean even said on the press conference, like, hey, I'm not here to talk about just the Wilfried show. You know, there was a moment when Ashley and Patrick also didn't link up and they kind of mouthed off for a second and blah, 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 blah. You know, it happens. It happens in sports. It happens all the time. But we were talking about like what's different this year and like where's the disconnect? And yes, there's some defensive obvious issues. Are you happy with Wilfried Zaha at May 22nd of 2025? If you reflect back to that first week or that last week of February before we kicked off and we were all having the it's Wilfried Zaha dude kind of jokes and the flag behind us and stickers that I made.
Yeah.
If you're looking at this right now and you're like, hey, Wilf's got, I think 4 goals, 2 of which were PKs. And then I think like 0 assists or 1 assist in this process. Are you happy with where he's at from a production perspective? And do you think he's an issue with the chemistry at all?
I'm definitely not happy, but I'm also not like mad.
Sure.
If that makes sense. Like, obviously I would be happier if he was playing better. Duh. Like that's definitely where I'd be. But we've talked about this before. Just because the production hasn't been there doesn't mean he hasn't had an impact on the matches. I think the past few have not been good ones. Like I really think Chicago was especially a rough one for him. So yeah, I'm not happy. Like we expected him to produce more than he has. But I'm also not like he's a bust and we wasted our time getting him.
I don't think he's the main issue.
No, he's not the main issue. But yeah, I want more out of it. I think even Dean said something along those lines either this week or previously where it's like, yeah, like we want him to be better than he is right now. Like I think we're all on the same page about that. But I don't. It's like, yeah, I'm frustrated in that way is that we expected a little more from him earlier. But like there is a transition period. Now, at this point, there's only so long you can use that excuse. Like at this point, he's played in 12 matches for the team. Like at some point, he's got to start doing stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not mad at him. But yeah, like I would expect a little more and want a little more out of what he's producing for the team. What was the second part of your question? Yeah, second part. I already forgot it.
Do you think? Because I've seen rumblings online about chemistry.
Yeah.
And if do you think that there's any kind of, and I know Swift's not here to talk about it, but Swift's mentioned like there's gonna be times where Zaha's gonna have comments or moments where he's just gonna say how he feels, and that's just who he is, which I appreciate. But do you think that's mess with the feng shui of the locker room? And that's reckless speculation here, so who knows? But
I think it's if there's any issues, I think it's less about any individual player and more about the fact that they've lost 5 matches in a row in MLS.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Like I think that's what can cause, like when you were saying, like it wasn't just Gianni and Zaha, it was like Westwood and Patrick had a little thing. Like you get frustrated. Like no one wants to be losing the way they're losing. And so they're getting frustrated about the way that things are happening on the field. And I think if anything's causing an issue, it's that. And it might emphasize some of the character traits of players that people get, rubbed the wrong way. But
right.
I think if we were playing better and winning some of these matches, that wouldn't be a thing. I think right now the frustration you're seeing, this is total speculation also, but like I would guess it's just everybody's tired of losing. Like the season started off so positively, and then it's just been a month of just negativity. And I think like winning solves a whole lot of things, playing well solves a whole lot of things. And I think that I'm not worried about it being like a bigger issue than that right now. I think if the players start playing better and we start winning some matches again, like it'll kind of go back to where it was. But yeah, there's definitely frustrations. But I would imagine I'd be frustrated if I was in that situation too. And I'm not scoring like I want to, or not producing like we want to, or not playing like we want to. You get frustrated, and like the specific thing you mentioned, the Gianni and Zaha thing, because that's in the corner where I sit. They both got mad at each other, and like me and the people around us were like, "You both screwed up, like both of you." Like, yeah, Gianni, it was a bad pass. Zaha, you were not paying attention and staying flat-footed, and so you weren't ready to go get it. Like, both of you sucked in that moment. Like, y'all can bicker each other all you want to, but like, both of you are at fault. Let's move on with life. Like, no one's playing well right now. And I think that's the frustration, is that we're just not playing well as a team, and so it's causing these little frustrations to permeate through the team. Zaha probably thinks he should be scoring more. I'm sure he thinks he should be scoring more. I hope he thinks he should be scoring more, and so he's probably frustrated about that. Yeah, so I think that's just kind of the universal thing. I want to say my favorite part of the Zaha Greg kerfuffle was Tim Ream coming over and getting between them, because I could just imagine, like, obviously Ream's history with the men's national team, getting over in front of Greg, being like, "Greg, just chill out, man. Come on,
chill out, bro."
Like, that's one of those where I wish someone had a mic on, because I just want to know what Tim Ream came over and said to get between Greg and Zaha. Like that part made me laugh. But yeah, it's just Zaha needs to stop taking the bait too. Like, that's just the thing. Like, everyone is coming after you, and especially coaches like a Greg Berhalter, they're going to do that. Like, that's how that's what they do. And they tell their players, like, get in his head. I don't know, just got to stop taking the bait and just move on and not worry about it. But no, just to answer the question in a very long-winded way, like, I'm not necessarily worried right now about that from like a player specific perspective. I'm more just worried about how losing can affect the mentality of a team. And that's why, as we were saying, I thought Saturday's match was so important, just to get some positivity back into the team, just to feel good about, like, oh, we can do this. We can play good soccer. We can score goals. We can win matches. All right, let's go from there and move on. So, but we didn't have that. We had a 4-1 defeat, and then whatever happened in Washington, D.C. last night.
It wasn't great. Well, let's take a quick break, hear a word from our sponsor, then we'll finish up with DC talk.
David, did I surprise you there?
You did.
Well, another surprise is Father's Day is just around the corner. Are you ready for Father's Day? Do you sell it? Can I ask you a question? Do you sell, like, are you one of those that celebrates like you're a dog father, and so you get
not really?
Okay,
I don't. But
no judgment one way or the other. I'm just curious. Like, I know some people do it that way. All right.
No, I don't. My dogs will not be getting me the Chairman Pro, unfortunately.
That's too bad. Just like kind of just put it beside their bowl, just like a little ad, so they just know to think about it. But Father's Day is just around the corner, and let's be honest, Dad does not need another coffee mug or a pair of socks. It's time to give him something he will actually use. So meet the Chairman Pro from Manscaped, the perfect Father's Day gift for the dad who deserves to look and feel his best. This isn't just any razor. The Chairman Pro is a high-tech, dad-approved grooming upgrade. It's an electric face shaver that can tackle up to 5 days of growth and features 2 interchangeable blade heads. Whether he's cleaning up for golf, dinner, or just another accidental nap on the recliner, make sure he does it with style. Nap on the recliner is the best, man. Accident or not, like it's just where it's at. The Chairman Pro is perfect for the dad who taught you how to shave and now needs a reminder how it's really done. So you can have him join the over 12 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and use the code CORNDOG for 15% off your entire order at manscaped.com. Now, David, tell me a little more about the Chairman Pro and what all comes with it.
So the Chairman Pro has 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads.
2.
Skin-safe, 2 of them, not just
2.
1. 2.
1, 2.
The skin-safe 4-blade foil is for that super close shave, and the skin-safe stubble trimmer is for that sophisticated 5 o'clock shadow look, which I tend to rock all the time. Both are designed.
That's more than a 5 o'clock shadow you got going on.
It is a little bit.
That's a hell of a 5 o'clock shadow you got going on right now.
So both are designed to help reduce the razor burn and irritation, so skin feels smooth and comfortable after every shave. So the Flex Adjust technology features a 360-degree contouring head and blades that flex and adjust to the contours of your face and neck, helping maintain a great contact to the skin at every angle. I don't know about you, Corey, but it sucks when you have a dull blade or a blade that kind of snags the skin or pulls or yanks. You know,
it pulls the hair. That's just the worst feeling.
It sucks. So with that, it means that you have a more precise and comfortable shave, no matter how tricky those spots typically are. And it's waterproof, so it can be used in the shower or rinsed under the sink after use, making cleanup a breeze. Battery life and display, and since Dad is always telling you to charge your phone, which
it's important.
I feel kind of old there for a second because I don't think my dad ever tells me to charge my phone, but that's okay.
That's true.
Now he can take his own device and take his own advice thanks to the digital battery display. It showcases the battery level, so he knows when it's time to charge. And with up to 75 minutes of runtime on a single charge, Dad can take his time getting the perfect shave. Chairman Pro comes with a USB-C cable and is wireless compatible too, so you can be super nifty there, Corey.
That is fancy.
Travel lock and LED spotlight has a travel lock feature, so he doesn't have to worry about accidentally turning it on in his bag when he's going through security. It has an LED spotlight to help ensure nothing gets missed. Plus, it comes with a 2-year warranty. Manscaped comes with a 2-year warranty that covers all power devices, giving you peace in mind with every use. So Corey, let's summarize this ad for everybody here. What do they need to do to get the Chairman Pro?
So get your dad the Father's Day gift he'll actually use and get the Chairman Pro for 15% off with code CORNDOG at manscaped.com. That's 15% off your entire order. So stock up on some other things too. Get something for your dad, your granddad, your uncle, your friend who's a dad, you if you're a dad. Just load up the cart, get 15% off the entire order with the code CORNDOG at manscaped.com. Or if you need it today, you can find Manscaped at a store near you. All right, welcome back. I guess we should at least take a few minutes and also talk about last night's match. We spent most of our time earlier talking about Chicago. But last night, we went to DC United in the rain in front of like 52 fans. And lost in penalties to DC United in the U.S. Open Cup round of 16. I'm a little torn on this, by the way. Like, just as I was like, I really wanted to advance. I'm not really torn. I was cheering for us to advance because, like,
yeah, I was too.
The closer you get to a trophy, it's like, let's go for the trophy. Like, what the heck? You don't know what's going to happen in an MLS schedule. If we can get a chance at a trophy, let's take it. There's also a part of me now, it's like, whew, at least we don't have more U.S. Open Cup games to worry about with this crazy schedule we're trying to fight through.
It's true.
But that was not a sterling example of soccer put on display in DC.
It was not.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start with this. Like, what stood out to you? We go down 1-0. We score 2 really quick goals to go up, give up a really late goal in regulation. And then extra time was weird too. I mean, there's a lot to go through here, and we haven't even gotten to the penalties, which were something. Yeah, like what stands out to you about this match?
I'll just touch base on the game because I'm sure like there'll be a few things to call out, especially the PKs at the end. It was a gross game. I mean, it was rainy, it was messy,
yeah.
It was very sloppy in that first half. Charlotte just was slaggy in the first half. Like they were just like slow on the ball, bad passes. It was wet. It was slippery. DC came down and had a really great little volley, kind of one-time touch goal, and got ahead early. And we, went into halftime and not feeling super great. It was, I was a little worried a little bit of where we were heading to. Now, Charlotte played a little bit better right before the halftime came, but this was obviously still kind of the depth piece roster a little bit. Like,
oh yeah,
you still had some starters playing. You had Patrick Agyemang starting. You had Petrovic starting in the cam role. You had Eric Williamson starting. You had Gianni starting. And then if you look at the back line, you had Tuiluma, you had Malanda, Nick Scardina, and then you had Marshall Ruddy starting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like it was a bunch of people that we're not familiar with. You had Vargas starting, and then you had Tavares starting, right? So we've had players here that had started for us in the past, that were starters for us in the past, who have had MLS experience. So it's not like we're putting out this like C-level squad roster. Like you still had some starters, and you also had some subs come in and play and play consistent minutes there, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just seemed like some of the basics that just Dean preaches. And I understand that it was rainy and messy, but it was just like I don't know. Just communication. The back line at times was rough. At times there was just I don't know. It just was not a very pretty game. Put it kindly, right? I mean, the fact that we let in 3 goals and like we rallied back at one point and had basically control of the game for majority of the game, and then screw up again and let them to come back and tie it and go in the extra time. Like it's frustrating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it, because I'm similar to you. I wanted us to advance and keep going in the Open Cup. I don't really give 2 craps about Leagues Cup, like whatever. Like I don't really care. But I also understand where you're coming from, where it's like we don't at least have to worry about any more matches now at this point.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess it shouldn't be surprising that it was a sloppy, nasty match. Because like again, you're playing a lot of your backups and your depth pieces. It's midweek. It's not an MLS match. It's rainy. It's a very small crowd. Like it's a weird environment to play in. So I'm not surprised that it wasn't like high quality soccer that we saw on the field.
It's Open Cup.
So like, and that's fine.
It's the vibe of Open Cup.
Like that's kind of is what it is. Like that's I'm not too concerned with. And overall, I'm not necessarily too concerned with, like, I'm not making major takeaways from that match. Overall, just because again, it's a different lineup, it's a different situation. Whatever. I thought, again, Agyemang played pretty well. I thought his goal was whoa impressive. I mean, that's the kind of thing where I'm like, I think between that and the way he played against Chicago, it's like, all right. Because I feel like, I mean, not that he's been playing poorly, but like we haven't quite seen that like men's national team promise we thought we had at the beginning of the season. Like it hadn't quite gotten there. And then like I feel like 2 matches in a row, I've been like, there it is. There he is. So that's a positive. Like, I'll take that away from it. I think Williamson has had some moments in the past couple matches, as much as we talked about Williamson.
Sure.
He's had some moments.
And he played decent in this game.
Yeah, he played decent. We didn't even talk about it in the Chicago match, but he was the one that set up he put in the assist for Pat in the Chicago match, and that was a really nice little touch there to set up Patrick. So, like, okay, again, I'm not totally sold on him yet, but like, all right, there's something there.
Yeah,
Tuiloma got a goal. I think that's what we all thought we would see from Bill, like when we got him 2 years ago, and we haven't seen it until now.
Can I just make a quick joke for 2 seconds? So, it was just great to see Bill have a header that went in the right direction, right goal for us for once. But no, I will give credit to Bill. Bill played well in this game. I know we give Bill a little crap there for that, but he played well in this game. And I think obviously Dean and the roster feels very, very important of him because he wore the captain band for this game.
I think Bill, like, that's what we thought we had when we got Bill in the first place, and it just has never really shown up. And it's like, oh, okay, again, it's a weird match. It's like, I don't want to take too much away from him, but like, oh, that was a nice little bright spot there. Hey, pup. Sorry, we're gonna leave this in the podcast. David's dog is needing attention right now.
He really wants attention.
If you're watching on YouTube, listening, you just heard him, but watching on YouTube, you get to see the full experience. Dogs are welcome on this show. This is a safe space. But I think the things that just jumped out to me. So we go up in extra time 3-2. The goal we gave up in extra time was like the most absurd thing I've ever seen. Like, this is the kind of thing that happens in like beer league, Sunday soccer, where it's like the ball just pings around for a while and then finally lands on somebody and they knock it in the goal. I mean, that was just like, DC built up a nice attack to get it into the box, and then like Ream, I guess, like slips kind of trying to clear it and just makes the worst possible clearance, but also Bingham was diving over at the same time he was trying to clear it. So like both Ream and Bingham are on the ground at the same time
and trying to block it. It was just it was like, what was the Benny Hill thing, like it was like that kind of a moment.
Yeah, the announcers, I feel like, were like even trying to be nice about it, but the way they were talking about it was like, that was something, like it was that's brutal. And it, like, because again, like we had this match won twice. I mean, we had it won late in regulation, we had it won in extra time, and just did goofy things to give it up. And then the penalty shootout was like those were some of the worst penalties I think I've ever seen in my entire life of watching soccer.
Let's talk about the PKs for half a second here. So I will say this. So before I get to the spot in this kind of thing, can we just talk about the selection of
yeah,
credit. We did not have our starting 11 out there, but we had think about it from this. You had Pep Biel out there playing. You had Yuri Tavares playing, who started for us in the past. Malanda's a starter for us. Ream's a national team player. You had who else was out there in the midfield? Brant Bronico is in the midfield. You've got starter quality players out there. And who do you roll up to take the very first PK in this game? You put Adilson Malanda as your starter PK? Like, why?
I have no idea.
Don't know.
Yeah, that made me scratch my head. Also, like, credit, like, I don't think I've ever really seen this. I don't see it very often where DC made a sub right before penalties, where they're like, we're going to sub in our PK keeper. I'm like, that's weird.
Well, it worked. He had 0 minutes the entire season. He has not played at all.
He comes from USL. They were talking about like he's a USL guy who hasn't played a single minute, but like they clearly knew like he can do penalties. And he came on and he saved 4 penalties. And again, we didn't make it hard on him. Like he guessed right, to his credit. Like he guessed right on the shots, but it wasn't like we were putting him in spots that were hard to save. And to his credit, Bingham,
he kept us in it.
He kept us in it. Like we should have been out of that way sooner. And then Bingham started making some saves. So I was like, all right, we got a chance here. But like, how is it in 5 penalties the only person to score for us was Brant Bronico?
So on that note, and you just mentioned it, there was a moment, even Jeremy mentioned it in our Discord, but about halfway through the PKs, the ref started making them put the ball fully on the spot. And you could tell the players were kind of like not a fan because DC Field's always been atrocious. It rained nonstop. And it was like a divot where the spot was supposed to be. But then halfway through the PKs, the refs started like making sure that they were doing that. And no one made a PK after that. It just was terrible quality except for Brandt Bronico. And it's just like, so I think there was a little thing to play from that perspective, but still, like,
it was such a weird, because again, you're right. Like everyone, and I don't think they're trying to get an advantage from it. They were trying to put it at the front of the spot or like slightly in front of it.
I think not in a divot.
I think they were still trying to put it on the spot, but on the very front part of it because it was actually not a divot. And the ref decided to get very particular about the rules and said, no, that's not on the spot. And so like, or it would roll back on its own because it would fall back into the divot without the ref even coming over. Like it was a weird penalty situation. It was ugly. I mean, it was a perfect encapsulation of the entire match. But again, it is what it is. I'm not going to take too much away from it. But like, I don't know why Malanda was the first penalty. I don't know why no one else on our team could find the goal. Even
think about it from this. It's such a wacky game. There was a like breakaway moment where we could have scored and we didn't, and then also Adilson Malanda almost had a beautiful shot like at the 18 of the box and almost scored and hit the crossbar. Like it was just a wacky game.
It was a wacky game. Again, this is not one I'm taking large things away from. Chicago is the one that like I have feelings about and large takeaways from. It's US Open Cup. It is what it is. I'm sad that we're not moving forward in it. It would have been nice to get to the round of 8 and really like try to get a trophy here because I think we had a chance to do it. But it is what it is. It's a weird night. Just again, that third goal given up was wild. And then the penalties, who we put up there and the way we took them was special. It was a special situation.
After the press conference after today's practice, Dean made a point to say, we practice PKs.
Did he dig a little divot in the field so they could practice it on a divot?
Knows? I don't know. I just was like, I'm like, oof. He was not happy at that point.
No.
If you go and practice PKs after that point, yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I mean, this is again, there's been some people in the Discord, and credit to them, who have really tried to be like, guys, this guy's not falling. And I agree with that. Like I it's a long season. We are still in a playoff spot, even though it's a low one. This team still has the talent. We're just we knew from the beginning was going to be the toughest part of the season. We're in the thick of it. Like I recognize that. But man, it would help to see like just some sign of life.
Give me one
from this team. Just give me one. I really hoped it was going to be Chicago. Like I just need to see a sign of life from this team that like we're still in it. We still got it. We're good. And I haven't seen that in a while. And Saturday we have Columbus Crew coming to town, and not that we can't win that match, but boy, that's much harder, against a very good team. So, at this point, I think I'd be happy if we played well, like just come out, put on a good performance, be in the match, even if we get a draw, like fine, but like I just need to see this team put together a 90 minutes and I'm like, all right, they played well. I can be okay with that and move on. I would love to get points out of it. We need to get some points, but I also recognize who we're playing. We just need something again, because this is the last home match until July, I think.
It's crazy. And again, craziness. Yeah.
Like I really think it is like 5 straight road matches after this one, if I'm counting them right.
You're right.
Yeah, we're back home July 5th after this match. Like we need something positive from this in the biggest way, just to kind of spur on the rest of the season. And then, once we get through June, we'll see where we're at. We get a lot more home matches, a lot more of an even schedule. It feels a lot more normal. We can make that late run, still have a really good playoff spot. Like it's all still on the table for us. Like I'm not, the season's far, far from over. but we need that. We need to have a good performance on Saturdays to have something to build off of to move into this really tough away stretch.
Sorry. Both my dogs are going crazy right now because they're so excited about us potentially getting 3 points this weekend.
So excited.
They agree with you, Corey, that we need to show some form of life, honestly, this weekend. Get the bad voodoo out of the system.
Yep.
Hopefully get a win, at least get a draw, get some kind of
something.
Points, so we can kind of get this off our back a little bit.
Yeah. All right. For your dog's sake, I think we should wrap it up so they can go. I don't know. They need to go outside or eat or whatever they need to do. We're going to give them a little break. They're ready to celebrate Father's Day with you, I think is what's about to happen. If you've skipped through the ad, you won't know why I'm saying that. All right. Well, hopefully, again, we'll not have to have a therapy session next week. Also, hopefully, we have a Wednesday match next week too. These Wednesday matches are killing the recording schedule. So we'll likely do the same thing next week that we did this week, where we'll come out after the Wednesday match against Red Bulls. So we'll see you then. Hope to see you at the match on Saturday. Hope to see a better result, and please don't boo the ref unless he does something actually egregious. And
for Corey's sake, please.
For me, just please, for my mental health, don't make me get mad at the fans in the stadium again. But until then, thank you all for listening. Check us out on the Discord, join the Patreon, help us out there. We like to kind of chat with everybody in the Discord and have those fun conversations. It can bring some levity to when we're watching on the field and on the screen is not as great.
I will say everyone's been great in there, and it's been a nice change of like, hey, we all acknowledge this really sucks, but we're all here to have some fun. So
and we're trying to find positives. So it's a good there's good energy in there right now. So I'm trying to take that and go with it. But until next week, we'll talk to you later.
See you guys.